State, while it was a road trip, a short one, a little bit different than the one that Miami made to Clemson and Georgia Tech. We are underway with a service error by Elijah Villar. NC State looking for a bounce back weekend. They felt like they just did not play well at Duke. Did play better against North Carolina, but the Heels now ranked. And so the caliber of opposition was better. They dropped that one as well. This is a very inexperienced NC State team. That's been the storyline this year with 8 newcomers, 7 of them freshmen, 4 of them in the starting lineup.
Yeah, when you lose a lot of very strong, very senior starters on your team, it's a lot of pressure on the new players to step up, but frankly, even more pressure on those senior returning teammates to, set the example and bring their teammates alongside them as they play.
Well, we already introduced you to Flor Marie Heredia Colon. She introduces herself to this Reynolds Coliseum crowd. It's a good crowd on hand for this one. Her first kill. Tough serve lefty by the setter, Ariana Rodriguez. And NC State able to get the quick side out.
That's going to be a crucial part of the game for NC State. Miami's very strong at the service line and on offense. Being able to be good and clean and aggressive out of system is going to be key for this game.
NC State running the 2 libero system, which was put into place, that rule, to make it possible last season. Lorna Kerr coming in and serving. How did that ball get up and get over? Heredia Colon thought it was down. I did too. Play continues. To the near side and a block. What an early point for NC State.
That's something that such a young team brings to the court is you have nothing to lose. Being so young, you're just going out there and trying to play the hardest you can for every point. You got to learn every single part of that, and this NC State team just showed that there.
There is Kerr from right here in Raleigh. So you utilize 2 liberos. Zuzia Maciejewicz is the other for NC State, and really the defensive stalwart. Kerr is in there primarily to serve.
That's definitely an interesting thing with the double libero system. Zuzia is from Poland, and in international volleyball, the liberos don't typically serve, and so they haven't really had much experience of that. So NC State's really utilizing this system to be able to have a tough serve back there and utilize a good defender.
Yeah, it is such an oddity, other than club, high school. Women's college volleyball, that serve just deep, ton of topspin, but just too long before it dipped down. But the only place where the liberos do serve. So yeah, Maciejewicz coming over said, this is weird. Had learned it at age 12 from her father, and they gave her some chances to serve early on, but say, why not go ahead and utilize? We have other options, and Lorna Kerr, they love her serving ability, and it gives her an opportunity to play more. When you played, yeah, you want to put on the libero jersey, but there's only one. You got competition. Back row, you bet. And a fist pump from Flor Marie Heredia Colon.
Colon, such an aggressive player. Miami's going to try to go to her in system or out of system, and showing why.
14 or more kills in all but 1 match this year. Only had 3 against North Texas. They did not need a lot of production from her against North Texas. This is a Miami team that has won 12 straight matches. They dropped a 5-setter in the opener, the season opener, to Indiana. Since then, unbeaten. They have vaulted into the top 25. 12 is their number. It's Heredia Colon's number. It's also the team's number. Nearly a great save. That'll fly over our heads. A great hustle by Neilani Feliciano. But they have also, Grace, won 12 straight sets. So this is not just a team that is winning a lot and has won some 5-setters early on. They have been a buzzsaw. I mean, no one's taken a set off of them the last 4.
That takes a lot of skill and a lot of discipline, mental and physical discipline as a team to be able to be that kind of under pressure.
Great work in the middle. I think it was Mariamush Kudiani who got the block, but Dahlia Wilson got the initial attack and then slid over to help out on the block. That was impressive.
Miami's adjusting very well, putting up a very strong block against Courtney Bryant.
Mushkidiani from Georgia. And point Wolfpack. They run a slide there. Now Grace Ashley Mullen is out due to injury, their second setter. They have been running a 6-2, but with the 5-1 and Elijah Villar, you can run the slide right there, and it worked.
Absolutely. Wolfpack volleyball coach Wargo Connie talks about playing packed fast. Fast tempo, fast offense, and the slide you see with the tempo there Villar is pushing, that they're trying to beat the block. With such a large block like Miami has, you have to beat them with speed or be able to tool the block to be successful.
Amina Njai with an ace. Boy, Miami so good behind the service line. And it is the freshman from Orlando who serves up her 7th ace of this season. Miami has, again, when you've won 12 straight sets, you've got just about everything working for you, but the serve certainly has been a huge asset, but NC State hanging right there in a big swing from Courtney Bryant.
Again, Villar doing such a great job of pushing that ball out so fast, be able to find that flight, that block gap between Wilson there in the net.
Villar back to serve, the senior who has been a tremendous story for NC State this year. Former DS libero, can't dig that one out. Volunteered in the offseason. Hey, look, I said in high school, I think I can help this team setting. Boy, has she ever. Again, it's been a 6-2, but with Mullen out now, she is the primary setter. What an incredible story.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of volleyball IQ to be a setter, but even a lot of maturity to take that for the team and say, look, we have a need. I want to fill it. I want to contribute. She has done her time with this team, and she's really grown into such a strong leader for them, and it shows on the court.
And we didn't talk to her pre-match, so can't speak for her, but she's from the 305. She's from Hialeah, right down the road from Coral Gables. So I don't know if this match means just a little more for her going up against their hometown team. Another kill for the All-American candidate in Heredia Cologne. You were a defensive specialist. Can you imagine going into your senior year? Hey, I don't know if you did set in high school, but hey, I haven't set since high school, but I'm gonna drill this. I'm gonna work on this, and to be able to pull it off too.
It's a skill. Setting is a very difficult position, so I have a lot of respect for that. It's a very hard skill to hone, but having even a modicum of experience in doing it before is going to help tremendously.
No touch. An attack error on freshman opposite Jordan Smith. Things have gone so far. And he said, you know, overall, it's been we're coming off a good weekend in the ACC. But this is a team that is very much still growing. It's a good mix of some experience, like Heredia Cologne, who was blocked here, and so many newcomers. So they're still gelling, which is kind of terrifying for the rest of the league. If this is, you know, they're not in postseason form just yet. They're just getting started.
Absolutely. And talking with him pre-match, they've got a very tough first half of their schedule. It's a lot of away games, so they get to end on a high note of being home right before into tournament play. So I'm very excited to see how this team evolves over this season.
And me as well. Big attack there by Logan Wiley. Good dig. Can NC State for them? They're not looking at a certain portion of the schedule and saying, hey, we have to manage it this way. It's just NC State's the opponent in front of us today. We'll worry about Wake Forest later.
I mean, you got to say that's probably a testament to why they've gone 12 straight wins and no sets dropped.
And he did say that, you know, it's all
a very tough double close block. She's able to scoot it past there pretty easily and find that hole out of system.
The freshman from Madison, Wisconsin, playing with a lot of confidence. You know, we highlighted Courtney Bryant coming off a career-high 22 kills against Duke. We could have easily highlighted Ring, who had a career-best 17 kills last match at North Carolina. Miami will take this point and bump the lead back up to 3. But that confidence is everything. We touched on it just a little bit earlier. On the one hand, these inexperienced Wolfpack players, they don't know what they don't know, which sometimes can be a good thing. Just go out and play hard is paraphrasing. That's about what you said earlier. But on the other hand, the ACC is a different level. You played in this league for 4 years. They didn't have the weekend that they wanted opening weekend. And I think they realized, look, it's tougher. Villar in the front row tries the tip. Can't get it to come off that time. But what was your experience in the ACC and the level of play? And it's only gotten better.
Absolutely. Even just 8-9 years ago, it was, you know, pretty strong at the top of the conference. But you had maybe 3 teams that could possibly be in the top 25. Now it's about half the conference that could be in the top 25 here, which is phenomenal with the addition of SMU and Stanford and Cal into the league. Those new skills.
And Coach Orgo Kearney was the recruiting coordinator. So for those players that were committed or, you know, considering NC State, oh, you're gonna be head coach now. Great.
Yeah, take some pressure off the recruiting process of any uncertainty there.
Miami starting to step on the gas here in the first set. Really showing the quality volleyball that they've been playing really all season long. I know they dropped a 5-setter in the opener, but that's the only blemish. This is a team with some high hopes.
You can see this here, just how much pressure they are putting on this NC State team from the service line. Again, I live by the fact that serve and pass wins and loses games.
Sure. They go back row to Bryant, defended by the Canes and terminated. Miriam Mushkuriani. You mentioned also the size, the physicality of Miami's block. When you're going up against that and you're out of system, that's tough.
So tough. That's where the seniority of Bryant comes into play, of knowing how to tool that block and doing a thumb up hit to try to utilize any weakness in their block to your advantage.
They go slide, and it's down the line. Even after a great defensive effort just a moment ago by Neilani Feliciano.
What a swing by Cropper, and a great choice by Villar here. She sees that Cropper has just one blocker on her and makes the smart decision to give her that one-on-one block.
And an ace from Rebecca Ring. Now, we mentioned Ashley Mullen out. They don't expect her to be out for a ton of time, which is good news. With that being said, I am curious, they've run 6-2 for the whole season for good reason, but you wonder if moving to a 5-1 can't maybe bring some kind of momentum, or maybe even just unlock some confidence in certain players, maybe like a Lily Cropper, who gets to run that slide now.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes when you do have lineup changes or injuries, sometimes it can band the team together under uncertainty and you know, up communication when you're not playing typical positions or running certain plays you usually will.
Maybe looking to serve tough. That one from Mushkuriani sails long. Just saw Cropper pick up the kill. Most of her work this season has been in the blocking. An excellent job of that. 5 or more blocks in 5 matches this year. Short ball. Wilson takes it initially. Rodriguez goes quickly, and there's Sydney Daniels. No touch. Point Canes.
What a dig by Daniels. Those were 2 very tough balls coming from Miami, and being able to rebound that quickly and get that ball up. Unfortunately, Bryant, you could see those gears turning, trying to go high hands on that Miami block, but they were smart enough and brought their hands down.
Bryant stuffed by Wilson. And I had to ask Coach Gondara about Dahlia Wilson, who spent a couple years at Kansas State, didn't play a whole lot, and just her growth, was a big impact player last year and has only gotten better and better this year. And said, you know, recruited her out of high school as a middle. They really loved her as a middle. You could see why. But wanted to play opposite, wanted to get that opportunity, and did. But they were looking for a middle. She's in the portal, or they're already familiar with her and say, hey, we would still love you to play middle. And that has just worked out perfectly for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. She was formidable on the opposite too, but seeing her in the middle just looks like she's at home there.
We mentioned the 11 newcomers for Miami. The serve misses for Njai on set point. Because they were a little thin in the spring, it allowed them to spend a little more time and attention to the players that they did have, including Wilson. And Coach said felt like that kind of paid some dividends.
There's definitely something to be said, and once you get into preseason and during the ACC season, there's not much time to focus on the little details.
It happens so fast.
Focusing on big picture, how to win games.
Villar with an ace gets the home bounce off the tape. So there's double-doubles, 5 double-doubles, most recently against ODU. Heredia Colon sent back. Feliciano goes to her. And she does the rest. An impressive first set from Miami. Their 13th straight. It is nice. Even though you only played just a few years ago, Grace, I don't know how much of the technology was available at the time in terms of the trackers and the work, how many jumps, how much work are you putting into practice, but they have that now, and they can really kind of hone in on this is when she's ready to go, and this is when in practice we might need to slow her down just a little bit.
This is definitely pretty new technology.
Yeah.
But something that teams definitely should be taking advantage of, just for the longevity of the players and to prevent any injury, because you want her to continue to put numbers on the board like she has, and she can't do that if she's too injured.
In the front row, there's Rebecca Ring, who wins the joust to make it 2-0 Wolfpack here in set number 2. Miami won the first set 25-16.
Yeah, this NC State team is coming out fiery. They're ready to change the tide.
Nearly an overpass. No call. That ball's out. And by the way, we showed the total attacks, and that tells a lot of the story. That's not even the complete story, because as Coach told us, everybody knows that she's going to get the ball a lot. So they're trying to serve her often too, and tipping her and making her work in other areas that aren't even the 1,200 attacks that you might see this year. Great serve from Wilson. Ring did well just to keep it off the floor. They go to Heredia Colon, and that ball's out off the block. Point Canes.
Again, you see what such a strong player Heredia Colon is there. NC State had a very large, very close block on her, yet she's able to just power through that completely.
What a great high second ball from Elijah Villar to give her team a chance. Allows Smith and Haley McFadden to set up the block.
What a great play by Villar here. That's just her DS skills there with the out-of-system setting. And then again, a great work by NC State on the hit.
We talked about how difficult setting is, but specifically right there, those skills are very transferable.
Absolutely. It's often you see, your setters are the ones with the most assists, but right there behind them is the libero.
That's right. Speaking of setters, Ariana Rodriguez all-region last season and 3-time ACC Setter of the Week, just better than 1,000 assists a year ago. And she is running this Miami offense so well. And you see the serve, too. And it gets some oohs and ahs out of the crowd because it is the big, heavy topspin serve. But it's not just the pace of it, it's effective, too. She's got 35 aces on the year to lead the Canes.
Something that's unique about her is she is left-handed. So
Yes.
topspin itself is hard, but be able to track the ball coming from a player's left is increasingly more difficult. Miami has a couple servers on their team that had that topspin, and it is very effective when done correctly, and they've perfected that in the program.
NC State touch spotted here. Canes take the point. They were able to get Rodriguez to side out quickly, but now they have to contend with the serve of Heredia Colon. Off the tape, nearly an ace. Antenna. Oh, the hustle from the Wolfpack, but still Canes point.
Good hustle by Villar there. Again, bringing in her defensive specialist skills here, but being able to go on the run and be able to put up at least a decent ball there is definitely a great spot.
Look at this backspun pass. Can't run it any better than that.
Absolutely not. What a perfect pass by Juja. Again, a tough topspin coming at you. That ball is basically an attack from the end line. And Villar makes such a smart decision to give the one-on-one to Cropper to get that kill.
They do serve Colon, and a good pass. Villar shoots it across to Bryant, and she finds the soft spot in the zone.
Again, you see Bryant's seniority coming out into play there. She could tell she was a little early. She was able to adjust mid-air to be able to find the ground.
I don't know if Cropper touched it or not, but they'll take the point. Ring into the net. That's the Wolfpack lead to just 1. This matchup, NC State and Miami, has been interesting. Historically dominated by the Canes. However, it has been a home court advantage in recent history. Miami's won the last 3 meetings in Coral Gables. NC State has won the last 4 here in Raleigh, including last year in a 4-setter. Off the block, off the antenna, tied up at 7.
Yeah, there's definitely a home court advantage aspect to it, especially if you've coming off traveling, coming off road trips, being in the place that you practice, and there's definitely something to it.
That was the home finale for NC State as Bryant tacks on another kill. It was their penultimate regular season match. It was absolutely must win. They had everything to play for, needed to beat Miami and then go to Dallas and beat a really good SMU team. To even think to have a chance to get in the NCAA tournament, that was a senior-laden group, very motivated. They played really well against the Canes and won in 4 despite 24 kills from Flor Marie Heredia Colon. And then they sure did go to Dallas, beat SMU, and got to the NCAA tournament. Not even talking about the SMU win, just that was a Miami team that was on its way to its 4th straight NCAA tournament. Really good squad.
That's the one thing about the ACC now is, it's anybody's game. When you show up, it's whoever's on the court and whoever shows up the best in that match.
Well, Courtney Bryant and NC State have shown up in this 2nd set. Courtney Bryant, who is growth is the term that both programs use with so many new players. But Bryant, one of the returners, her growth year over year, now becoming not just their attacking leader, but their vocal leader. They said when she showed up, she was as quiet as could be. and how she has grown off the court even has been really remarkable to watch.
Absolutely. And coming into the role of playing now the 6 rotation outside versus just the 3 rotation requires a lot more communication throughout the team. Now you're in serve receive more, you're in defense more, which is, you really got to build that trust without being able to communicate with your teammates on the court to just know when they're going to be beside you.
Haley McFadden called for the lift there. And Njai served very well in the first set. Smith attacking on the left side in this rotation. Rolls it over, handled by Feliciano, and there's Heredia Colon.
Great job by Heredia Colon here. She sees this NC State block is very late, throwing hands up, and she utilized that to her advantage off the hands of McFadden.
And an ace, this time from Jasmine Vergara. Or pardon me, from Njai. Just talking about how well she served. I looked up and Vergara was celebrating. Apologies. Ooh. Yeah, the line judge had it out. We don't need to challenge for that. That ball was down.
That is such a difficult serve to hit, and understand that ball is coming so fast. I could understand how that line judge might have missed it.
Well, we talked earlier about just how good Miami's serve has been, and that tells you they're best in the country. And that's just the story of the aces, not to mention all the times they get you out of system and then set the trap with that block.
Serving really is that one skill that you can control in volleyball. So if you can hone your serve and get these teams out of system that they can't get in their groove and set their middles or their quicker tempo hits, you're on the offensive the whole time.
After a great run, it is the serve error. You'll take that, though. A couple aces, you get on a run, you'll take a service error every now and then. Keep in mind, NC State, they've been top 5 in aces the last 2 years in the ACC. And once again, serve tough this season, but they're going up against the best in the ACC in terms of service pressure. And look, I know there's a lot of good teams at the top of this league, and Stanford and Pitt and Louisville, but Miami playing as good as anybody in the country. They're the first to 15 here in set 2. Well as anybody right now. Kill for Rebecca Ring coming out of the timeout. But it's been cool to watch the game grow, particularly within this league. I mean, a number 22 Miami coming into town, that's something you certainly heard of before, but that would be at times you say that this is the top ranked team in the league. Not the case now, but the quality, I mean, is so good. I think they have a case to be made just from what they've done so far in their last 12 and what we've seen tonight. I don't know if you'll find 21 teams better than this one. This Miami team has a high ceiling.
Yeah, it would be very tough. I'd like to see someone try to make that list.
So as the depth of this league has gotten better, NC State 0-2. Okay, no panic, shake it off. But what's up this weekend? Miami and Florida State, who has also been historically so good in this league.
Absolutely, this is definitely, while a great opportunity for NC State to play at home in their home crowd, 2 very tough opponents here.
You
start off home ACC play.
How about Rodriguez with that lefty topspin down the line?
Again, hard enough. One thing about Zuzia, the libero for NC State, is because she hasn't served in international volleyball, she has very few opportunities to serve receive out of right back. And so this has definitely been a new skill for her, but definitely one with a lefty topspin that, you're getting some good experience against some tough serves.
And another point off the serve of Rodriguez from New York City. Timeout, NC State. Rodriguez on a serving run. We'll step aside. Sunday afternoon, Miami will be just up the road in Winston-Salem, taking on Wake Forest. NC State will be hosting Florida State. NC State needed a point out of the timeout and got it.
Great work by Ring there. She sees they're kind of a bit of a mix up there on the Miami side with that free ball that Villar sent over, and she's patient on that block and waits and perfectly sets it up.
Rodriguez back behind the attack line, received that pass. Daniels deals with the swing of Heredia Colon, and NC State transitions to their 14th point.
Again, Ring, only a freshman, but she's playing with some very good volleyball IQ right here. She sees the setter on Miami's side, cheat up a little bit, and shoots that cross shot right back to the corner.
Yeah, like we told you earlier, the career best 17 kills against North Carolina. Might have gotten her hand on that one too with Cropper. See if they go to her again. No, back row. A push from Bryant. Dug out by Olivia Durst. Off the antenna, point Canes.
Smart shot here by Miami. Heredia Colon going up and using the hands of Ring there.
Good pass from Bryant. It'll fall to the floor. NC State trying to stay within striking distance here. Miami was able to pull away in the first set, ended up winning it 25-16.
NC State's definitely coming back with a lot of fire that they didn't quite have in the first set. You know, it looked like they were still figuring some things out. Miami came out very strong, but they're getting in their groove here.
Clara Vondren has come in to serve for the Wolfpack. Quick side out as they go to the middle. Logan Wiley transferred from Georgia Tech, and she was an all-ACC freshman team performer in Atlanta last year. Top 40 recruit. And NC State out of rotation here. So a little confusion on the Wolfpack side.
This is not often a penalty that you see called on teams, especially at this high of a level, that, you know, as you see this NC State team is moving into a 5-1 from their 6-2 and has a lot of new players on the court. Might have been just a little miscommunication.
Bryant dug out by Neilani Feliciano. But the Wolfpack block able to earn the point. So impressive to me, you're right, you don't see it very often. How the R2 is keeping up with that on both sides. In their mind. You look out on the floor and you don't want to call that and be wrong. They do such a tremendous job of knowing where everybody not just should be, but has to be. And so much respect for the officials and the job that they do. And I think that might be something that not everybody realizes. That is part of the R2's job at all times, to glance over, make sure, okay, I'm to the left of you, or, you know, everybody's where they're supposed to be.
Absolutely. It is a tough and a high-stakes job, a lot of pressure, especially when it's big matches on the line. You've really got to be on your game, and this reffing team, you know, we've got to give them the credit where credit's due. They do a great job.
I believe we're going to have a challenge here from Coach Gondura and Miami. Again, NC State trying to stay within striking distance in front of a great crowd. We mentioned at the top, alumni weekend. 65 alumni here. There they are. They'll be honored at intermission. 3 All-Americans in the house: Julia Brown, Amanda Rice, Kylie Pickrell-Cole. And we're told that Miami is challenging that NC State was in the net. Or sorry, that Miami was not in the net.
You know, again, we're talking about how important and high stakes a job like being a referee is, like the R2 here. Having to make such a tight call like this, it's a close call. It could be the ball just clipping the tape, or it could be your hand. Being able to discern that and find enough evidence to overturn a call.
Based on that look, I think it was just the ball. What do you think?
I would agree with you. It looks like it does clip that tape there.
Well, we have a decision.
Call confirmed.
All right, so the call confirmed. Miami will lose the challenge. They send back Bryant. Vondren with a swing out of the back row, put a sting into it. Now Heredia Colon's turn. Got it.
Such a great look, both of these teams swapping back row attack after back row attack. That's one thing here is Miami's very used to seeing that in practice, and NC State as well. So seeing how these teams adjust to the other team's speed and how they run their back row attack.
Ferrara serving. Maciejewicz with a good pass. McFadden, how about the hang time? Great athleticism and leaping ability by freshman Haley McFadden. And even when that tempo, that timing's just a little bit off, she can make up for it.
That's a lot of volleyball maturity there, is to be able to be smart enough to know that that's going to be a tough ball to defend as Miami if you tip that right behind the blocker's head. It's a fine line between too deep and too short when going for that tip.
Off the video board. It is playable because it stays on the Miami side, then a miscommunication for NC State, and it ends up in a free ball. Boy, Rodriguez ready and eager to hit in the front row, but NC State was ready.
I know, it's not often you see Rodriguez go up there and be aggressive, but you know, good on NC State for being very disciplined in the net and making sure you got eyes on every possible threat.
Well, we have seen behind the service line just how live her arm is, but you get a glance in the front row. Shoots it all the way across to Njai. Smith with a big touch to it. Another swing for the freshman. And NC State has an answer. And all of a sudden, it's just a 2-point difference.
You know, this has been a great job by McFadden, that you're really 24/7 with your teammates, and you get to really form those bonds that translate onto the court.
And it's got to be exciting, especially as a freshman, right? You're like, I'm a college volleyball player, and we're taking a flight to go play somewhere. That's an exciting time when your team can bond. All right, out of the timeout, tough serve, and it leads to a free ball. With the left hand, McFadden attacks. Speaking of southpaws, it's Rodriguez in the front row. Big point, Canes.
Good work by Rodriguez here. She's very smart. You know, she's really picking and choosing the times that she takes swings, and, you know, being able to have a setter that is such an offensive force is a very good skill to have in your back pocket.
McFadden Can't get that one to fall. Set point, Miami. Timeout, NC State. Njai's serve so tough. Out of the timeout, it's Bryant. Heredia Cologne dealt with this time. Villar tries the other side to Smith. Going off the high hands. Njai's in the back row. In the middle. Set 2 belongs to Miami. 14 consecutive sets won. And just a set away from their... So far, Miami continuing its great play to no one's surprise. Again, they came in red hot. That has continued. We've talked about the serve pressure, the blocking for Marie Heredia Cologne. What has stood out to you through these first couple of sets about the Canes and why they're having so much success?
I think they are really doing a phenomenal job of bouncing back. You know, they don't get too flustered when NC State makes great plays. You know, they look like they understand, you know, teams are going to get kills on us. They're going to get aces. They're going to make great digs, but not letting that affect us and just focusing on one point at a time.
For Marie Heredia Cologne had 24 kills against NC State on this floor a year ago. It wasn't enough, though. NC State took it in 4. Samaya Dorsey into the match, the freshman from Phoenix, immediately making an impact. And look, when you're down a couple of sets, looking to make some adjustments, some changes. And the early return's really good for Samaya Dorsey.
Good, especially when you're in set 3, to get a fresh arm out there, a fresh look on the court, a newer player that Miami may have not had seen enough on, or as much as, you know, a Courtney Bryant or Smith out there. You know, change it up for him.
And Dorsey had 11 kills in her debut in the opener in the win against Akron. Again, the serve from Rodriguez. Ring picks out the tip. Bryant puts it to the floor.
Great work by Bryant there, sneaking it through the seam of Miami's block. You know, they're no stranger to a back row attack, and NC State's been going to Bryant as much as they can here, but she's able to sneak it between Heredia Cologne and Wiley there in the middle.
Well executed. Rodriguez to Mushkuriani.
Mushkuriani has done a good job. She's established that really strong line shot in the first set. So NC State is forced to put Dorsey there on the right side to block that line, opening up the gap there for her to hit that cross.
And Media Mushkuriani just making her 4th appearance, hadn't played since the 19th of September. So for her to be back and has impressed here in limited swings. Another swing for the number 7, not this time. Njai tries from the other side. There's Bryant ready and waiting. Over to Cropper, yes.
Great job by Cropper there. You see her, she's looking at that ball, seeing how far, calculating how she's going to take her swing there. Takes a quick step back and goes to 10.
Wiley came flying through, but missed the angle.
NC State here is doing a much better job of getting Miami as a little bit more out of system than they have in the previous sets here. They've been cranking up the speed on their serves. As I say, and I jinx Sydney Daniels.
But I think that's exactly what you're talking about, right? Is, all right, the first couple of sets, we've seen how they've gone. If you're NC State, one adjustment you can make, you made the point earlier, the service line is the one time where you have full control of what you do. And that might be an adjustment is, look, we have to serve tougher. If the errors increase, so be it.
There's some risk, but a greater reward if you're able to get Miami even a little bit out of system here.
About this kill from Rebecca Ring.
Great work by Ring, find that outside shoulder of the middle hitter.
Good pass by Njai, allows them to go middle. Wilson again, and Cropper soloed up, deals with it. Across to Njai, good.
See Miami here, yes, you've got Heredia Colon as one of their phenomenal hitters, but I mean, not to be outdone here by the other offensive hitters of Miami. You see number 15 there, and Wilson in the middle are formidable as well.
Mina Njai has gone for 7 or more kills already 6 times this year, jousting with Villar. A heavy swing of Courtney Bryant puts the Wolfpack in front.
You know, what a great thing about running the 5-1 that NC State has moved to here is you have Sydney Daniels, a senior on this Wolfpack team and a very strong defender, playing right back, which typically is a setter there. So if you're Miami, you often want to put that out of system ball to right back, but you know, if you have a strong defender like that, you're going to be in system more often than if you were to have a setter back there.
Mina Njai, the all-time kills leader at Lake Brantley High School. She'll keep serving after Heredia Colon picks up the block. And don't you just love when a story comes together? Because I wanted to talk about on the Njai serve here how much she's learned from a veteran, one of the nation's best, and how awesome it is for her as a freshman to come into a big role, but also be able to, as she continues to serve tough, be able to learn from a player like Flor Marie.
Absolutely. And Coach Gondara said, you know, they do leadership by example, leadership by inclusion, not just telling them what to do as a senior player on the team, but showing them, bring them alongside, coaching them up as well when you're on the court with somebody like that.
Pancake from the Canes.
Great hustle play by Vergara there.
Comes back over. Oh, how about that? Rodriguez faked the swing and sets Wilson on the slide. That was special.
What a smart play by Rodriguez here. She established that she is an offensive threat here. And, you know, NC State's got to honor that. They have to be on her and be on her hitter, but that so perfectly opens up that slide attack to have an open net.
And I love the connection between setter and middle, that even as Rodriguez is showing NC State, showing us, I'm thinking, oh, she's swinging.
The ball was down.
Wilson's ready to receive a set still, and not just standing and looking like we were saying, oh, she's going to swing. Ready for that. What a highlight. NC State going to challenge. Remember, earlier in that point, Miami had what was ruled to be a pancake. Live, Grace, I thought it was a good pancake. I don't know what you saw.
I would agree. It looked like it made clean contact on the top of her hand. Of course, you know, the down ref and other officials may have a different view with players blocking, but we had a great angle here at the table that it looks like it cleanly hit her palm when she dove on the ground.
Yep.
Of course, with the pancake, any part of that ball that hits your hand up, if the majority of the ball is on your hand, it is up. So again, these two teams are putting our referee team here in Reynolds Coliseum to the test tonight.
Oh, look at the zoom, enhance, okay, yeah. My opinion has not changed. I think that was still a great pancake.
Absolutely, what a good hustle play, and to be able to extend that rally.
Call is confirmed. NC State will lose their challenge.
And the call confirmed. And so it is point Miami. It was going to be a highlight one way or the other, but Canes take that point.
A challenge can often sometimes too. NC State may have had the angle to think it was down. Sometimes that can be used strategically as a timeout to give your team a break, especially when it's so close.
100%. Haven't used the challenge yet, so you haven't lost one yet. Still have another one even if you don't win it. Heredia Colon keeps swinging. Good things happening for Miami. Talking about that leadership and taking Njai under her wing, and the leaders of this team, players like Feliciano and Rodriguez and Wilson and Heredia Colon. It just illustrates the point. We're here on alumni weekend, and that's the passing of the torch of maybe you only played 1 year together, but you love them, you learned a lot from them, and that's an example here of what is happening with Miami. Njai, maybe the next great attacker for the Canes.
It seems like Coach Gondar has really built that culture over time, but especially prevalent here with this team is that, you know, no matter if you've transferred in and only playing and you've been under a whole different coaching staff for the majority of your career, but coming in and meshing very well with the team, that's also built on these, you know, tough away trips and these tough preseason schedules and tough conference like the ACC play. It's built each day in the gym.
Well, Miami challenging here for the second time the net violation that was called. So, and on that follow through, yeah, it certainly makes contact. Yeah, the point.
So it's going to be a tough call here. Obviously, you see number 10, Wilson going up to swing, but you also have Rodriguez up there, and it almost looks like Rodriguez's hand clips it after the ball is over the net, but that also could be the ball hitting the tape. You know, we've seen that before.
Looks like a good call.
Call confirmed. That violation on number 10. And Miami will lose their challenge.
You're right, they did say confirmed and on number 10, and I think Dahlia Wilson is saying that wasn't me, but yeah, it did look on replay like Rodriguez, and in the end it's semantics. Someone from Miami was in the net, and so that was, it'll make it 11-8. A risk to use a challenge there, but again, Miami trying to build a cushion and continue to do what they've been doing, which is sweet. So instead of 12-7, just a 3-point deficit. And Rodriguez misses that time.
You know, you take some risks. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, but, you know, kudos to her for being aggressive at the net.
Didn't play her first year, redshirted. Then had the breakout season last year. Orchestrating the offense. Also a big year last year because she played in Paris in the Olympics for a Dominican Republic team that made the quarterfinals. That is a huge deal.
To have that experience you've had in the offseason, to bring that back to your team in the collegiate season is something special for them.
We've seen the setting at times be attacking, but that serve, something special. Marie Heredia Colon with 14 kills. Again, that's the plateau she's reached in all but one match this season. It's like the old cliche. Can't stop her, can only hope to contain her, but even containing her is going to be, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 kills. What a great play by Olivia Durst. In serve receive, Grace, you're talking about using your base and being fundamentally sound, but sometimes you got to lay out for it.
Absolutely. That takes a lot of core strength, a lot of discipline, especially being outside of your range with your platform is hard for anybody, but you have to know your platform and you just put out that angle in any part of your body. As long as it's angled to target, your body can do all sorts of funky stuff, but as long as that angle is sound, you'll get it there.
Wiley with the block, and Durst first to congratulate her. That's got to feel good when you make a good pass off platform like that. Just like it's got to feel good when you're in the middle here like Logan Wiley. Stuffed.
Absolutely. Just like a passer's angle, your blocking angle, especially on a quick ball, dropping your hands into the seam is, I feel, the equivalent of that. Being able to read that ball or read that hitter's arm that well to know exactly the trajectory of that is something impressive.
The NC State block and then off the antenna. Miami the first to 15. This will be the media timeout.
That's important, but ultimately, you know, 500 kills is just part of the amazing milestone she's had at NC State. It's just a great accomplishment. You definitely see the impact she's made on the court.
Serve is out, although it did tumble eventually over the net into the NC State side. Antenna violation and just a 2-point lead for Miami.
This set has definitely evolved into a serve for serve. You know, both teams serving very aggressive. Both are going at it. A lot of errors being traded back and forth, but you know, I think they're really going after it, understanding that being in system or getting your opponent out of system is the name of the game.
Heredia Colon out of the back row. Wow!
This tempo that Miami runs this back row attack on is almost so fast. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, but it is just barely over the tape of the net. So the skill it takes to be able to, from 12 feet behind the net, to be able to hit it over that trajectory is, I mean, phenomenal.
Daniels coming in with a pancake. To be honest, I thought that ball might have been down. Wilson says, let's remove all doubt. I'll take the point myself.
Again, great work by Daniels there, being able to read the hitter's arm with having two blockers in front of you. It's not easy to see around them. They've got such a big block there.
Again, Rebecca Ring coming off a career match. She picks up her 9th kill. She leads all NC State attackers. Maybe on pace for another career night, but she'll need more than 3 sets to do it. NC State would love to force a 4th. But Wilson, boy, so many sets to the outsides, to the pins. But Dahlia Wilson has been there and been really steady, doing exactly what you want a middle to do.
Yeah, Rodriguez has done a very good job of establishing her pin hitter. So NC State, they look like they're setting their block a little wider, knowing their pins are their largest threat, leaving Wilson one-on-one with Cropper. And she's doing a phenomenal job of setting her a little off the net to give her that space to be able to swing left or swing right and to have options rather than having one lane to swing as a hitter. Again, here too, Villar as well, setting it up so Cropper has a one-on-one, running that fast tempo.
Yeah, we've seen Cropper have success on that 3 or 4 times tonight. Wilson says, look, I can do it too. NC State defends and scores. Maybe not quite the packed fast offense that they're typically running, but that'll work.
Hey, and sometimes, you know, the flashy hits don't always score. Sometimes just a smartly placed shot does the trick.
Feliciano and Heredia Colon get tangled up. Njai misses it down the line. Look like both players. All right, Heredia Colon, I think in a bit of discomfort, but kind of laughing it off, saying, oh, I'm okay.
Well, Miami there is both very aggressive and at all costs don't let that ball hit the ground. Hopefully both those players are okay.
And just like you said, drawing attention to the pins, and Wilson in an advantageous position and takes advantage.
Absolutely. Wilson and Rodriguez, obviously both being very senior players on this Miami team, have had time to develop that connection as a setter middle. To be able to run those, even if that pass is a little off the net, out of service seat, to be able to run the middle so quick is a good thing to have in the back pocket.
I mean, you saw in that replay just what you were talking about, where Villar on the right side was already starting to move towards the pin, because you have to be cognizant, you have to be ready. That is different too, being a DS or being in the 6-2, Villar having to block in the 5-1.
She's done a very good job. You know, she's a little on the shorter side when you typically see setters who run at 5-1, but you know, she has a very high vertical and a high IQ that, you know, she's able to play to her advantage there in the front row.
Wilson gets over there with Rodriguez, now combines with Heredia Colon. The angle is out. And
sure, you have new things coming in, but I have a chip on my shoulder saying, oh, I think we're stronger than 7th, and we'll show you. They've done that so far this season.
Well, Wiley got a good touch, looking up, but couldn't find it. Yeah, hey, we've been to 4 straight NCAA tournaments, and we're planning on going back. But again, speaking to the depth of the ACC, NC State went 11-9, finished tied for 9th in the league, and made the NCAA tournament. That is awesome, and not something you would see in years past of, you know, a team that's, you know, 9th, 10th in the league, thinking about being on the bubble. Are we going to get in?
This is definitely a new ACC. It's on par with historically strong conferences like the Big Ten, when you've got teams like Nebraska and Wisconsin and Minnesota consistently in the tournament.
Big spot here with Rodriguez serving up 2. Off the Miami block. Tools to cut it to 1.
Great job by NC State here. You see that urgency on their side of the net to get out of this rotation and find a way to get Rodriguez off the service line for them. This has been a very strong rotation for Miami, and having a strong serve at the end line and making sure that NC State's able to shorten that time she's back there.
Got through the hands of former Heredia Colon. An opening for NC State. Pancaked. Oh! Rodriguez kept it up, and Wiley popped it over. But no stopping that swing. Tied at 21.
I haven't seen a volleyball game with this many pancakes in quite some years. What a hustle play by Rodriguez.
It's one of the best points of this match. And then Kerr serves into the net.
When talking to both of these coaches before the match, they really emphasize being aggressive and playing clean. being scrappy in hustle plays and going out and earning every single point is going to be key in the ACC with such strong opponents. It's anybody's game when you show up, and you see both of these teams here by just these amazing hustle plays have been producing all match, and you see they both teams are really stressing that tonight.
NC. Great pass by the Wolfpack libero Maciejewicz, and Ring cashes in.
Yeah, that was a great position for Miami to be in with already opponent's service line. Tough serve, but NC State handled it so perfectly. You see perfect pass on target. The run in the middle, she's going in hard, creating that seam. So Ring can go to town in the middle of those two blockers.
Sydney Daniels serving, good pass. Njai, good. Match point, Miami.
Great work by Njai there. You know, we talk about a lot. She's got this great role model of Heredia Cologne. She's showing that she's picking up some great skill and making a name for herself on this Miami team.
They go to Ring. There's Feliciano. Njai wins it for the Canes. 3-0 in the ACC with 3 road wins.